Hello everyone. So back at the Irwin Park. It's been a little bit of time since I've been here. Um, so people that know me know I'm going to do the flip. All right, here we are. Right at the start. Hear a little bit of traffic. It's normal. Not too many people, but I've seen a lot of people walk for some reason. So not sure what we're going to find today. Maybe there's going to be a lot of me darting in the woods, and you'll know that there's somebody coming. So hopefully everybody's well, taking care of yourself and each other. I know that there's a lot of intense things coming and sometimes leaving, or ending, I should say. But I think that's the way of life, where things start, things finish, then you start again, and you finish that, and then do it all over. It seems to be a theme in my life anyways. Everything is impermanent, temporary. One of the Buddhist beliefs or philosophy. For me, it's not something a belief. It's been what I have experienced. So I see a lot of people experiencing similar things. So I assume it's the case for everything. Most things. What remains is the real. The spirit, the energy, the intelligence, the love. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to walk here because of stuff that's going on in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, where this is usually considered a big no. Start a fire. No, Marcel, don't get started on that. You've already talked about that. Okay. What I haven't talked about, and you'll notice a lot of my videos, it seems like repetitive sometimes. I'm talking about the same things. Not because I want to bore you. We've been programmed so deeply, and the way that we've been programmed is that we have repeated things over and over and over and over. And for there to be a glimmer of hope for something new to enter, I need to do the same. I need to make sure that the fundamentals of life are understood, comprehended. You get it, you realize it. Right? Now it's not that this all is a mysterious life and so forth. There's some mystery to it, obviously. Not everything is known. But I think at the end, a lot of it we do know. We sometimes need to remember. It's always one of my favorite words, remember. So members are people that are assembled together in a sense, right? So memberships. And members also, your arms and your legs are members. So when you're remembering, putting it back together. But that's not what I want to talk about today. It took me a little bit of time to get to the point of today. My point today is that I'm declaring that we are in the age of energy, the energy age, which I really prefer to hear it. Probably energy age flows better. Now, I'm not declaring it because I am the one that's manifesting it. I'm declaring it because I finally realized that it's been the case all along. And I believe that many of you are going to have this deep realization. Everything is energy. And the great thing about this is that it unites us all. And we know that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is simply transformed. And that's a very, very pivotal thing to realize, is that we can transform energy. And the more that we realize that, the faster that we will realize it, the better that we will be. Because we won't get stuck in believing that this is just the way it is. The system has control over everything, and it's always been that way. It'll always... No, stop it, please. Stop. And it's, and with this age of information, this age of energy that we are in, I'm going to make a further declaration, in which is that your energy will only be as valuable as the quality of the energy. So, depending on how much quality your energy has, that will determine how much it is worth. To me, right? And you have to get very clear on what is valuable to you, what is worthwhile to you. What are things that, you're willing to invest in, be around. Strong might have a little bit of a hard time hearing me, but I think it'll be fine. Won't be the first time. And I am further declaring that what is the most valuable of energies that one can give is truth, authenticity, love, peace, presence, consciousness, intelligence, care, wisdom, groundedness, connection, appreciation, honor. I think I've named many of the types of energy that I value. I'm sure that if I think of some more, I'll let you know. But I think I've covered quite a bit there by saying what I just did. And so the more valuable the energy will be, the more aligned with truth and authenticity it'll be. That's my, in a sense, most valuable thing. So, if you are someone that is interested to be in this age of energy, we all have to go through the same things, which is we have to determine what type of energy is valuable. And again, this is not a brand new concept I've created. This has always been this way. We have always chosen what we value the most to be around us the most. And I think the most important part is that we're going to realize it. That we're going to very much connect with how this has really, really always been the case. But we never realize the depth of this. And that goes very well with another thing that I would appreciate as far energy goes, depth, wisdom, right? So I think that many of us are really starting to discover that if you don't have truth, authenticity, honesty, integrity, all these things, and you don't have much. Right? You don't really have much. Because you have something that's not real if it don't. And more, we want things that are real. I know I do. Hopefully a lot of you as well are on this bandwagon. Not that you should get into bandwagons, please don't. This is go your own way, please. Too many people already following in bandwagons. Alright, so off trail, there's reason, as usual. And we're so lucky we can come here. Yeah, we're still very lucky that we can come here because other places would be considering this a big no-no. That we're an outlaw for walking around trees and hearing crows and being next to water. But there's crazy people that are lost, and we have met our fair share, all of us. And that's how we need to see these people that are saying these absurd things. They are lost, and people that are lost will not know what's important, will not know what's valuable. And more, I feel that being lost equals being scared. This is the theme that's coming up with for me. The more lost we are in whatever aspect of our lives, the more scared we will be. And I think that would be also very much connected to stress, and we know that stress is very much connected to pain. So, make your own connections, right? I can't tell you everything. You all need to have deep realizations on your own. These will be the most valuable ones that you can have. So if you have somebody just tell you this, chances are you will not really fully understand it. And that'll prevent you from really realizing what is being said, or how it really is, in other words. But people learn what they are ready to learn at whatever point they are in their journey, and so are we. We can't get angry at these people that are lost and in a state of fear because they're lost and afraid. So very much easier to have compassion for people who are afraid. Instead of seeing these people as control freaks, which is another thing that usually occupies the lost, scared, angry, right? These things are all connected like a spider web. And it's much easier to have compassion for people who are scared and than just to see them as people that are trying to control. Because if you see somebody trying to control, very often we get very triggered by these people. I'm going to hit this direction because there's a car over there. Maybe I have to take the table. Oh, nope, I'm going to head over here. But yeah, so it's much easier to have compassion for people who are lost, angry. Well, angry. But is lost and afraid. Right? That's why they're angry and want to control. They feel out of control within themselves, so they seek outward control. Can't control themselves, so they try to control other people. So these people are very, in a sense, very weak, very fragile egos, right? It's a trauma, it's a wound. And that's why I keep on saying that you want to be free. Gonna have to dig into that trauma, heal. But you guys do what you want to do. The people that liberate themselves don't just passively read books. They usually end up writing books. And these books that these people write are usually some of the deepest. And talking about deep, I was talking to my friend Fabien, who I was talking to today. Shout out to you, Fabien. And we were talking about plants. Because Fabien is very much into plants and medicine, plant medicine. And there's a book, Paul Sedier's, I think a Magical Botany or something like that. I believe the botany is in the title, Magical Plants or something. And they talk about things in that book that are very, very hard to believe or wrap your head around, because they talk about things that we believe are impossible, such as being able to grow a orange tree or apple tree, fruits, basically from seed to germinating and getting a tree and then getting flowers and then fruits. And they say that there are ways to do it in months, even less, just by knowing the different kinds of salt to add to that plant that when you're planting it. There's been many accounts of these things where people have grown things like apparently right in front of their audience, These are usually called magic tricks. But there's supposedly this method of how you can accelerate growth in plants. And obviously you could probably do it with animals as well, but that's a whole other subject. This poor tree here, so dry. Yeah, I hear you. Not good to see you like that. But anyways, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we have lost, information that we've lost, same as electroculture. For those that are gardening, and you've probably heard about this. There's a whole lot of things that were, in a sense, white. Is if you look back and you see how things are, and you see how things were, in a sense, reset. And that's another word that they're using lately. So, great reset, right? I think that we're going to have a very pivotal role to play in this reset. Whichever direction that you go will determine what kind of reset that you will experience, which goes back to the energy age that I was talking about from the very start. So you've got to be very, very mindful of the thoughts, the beliefs, the actions that you engage, because if you start believing something terrible is coming our way, you are going to create that. You are going to create the very thing that you fear, because it is all part of the infinite possibilities of what this energy can be. So, you got to be clear on what kind of life that you would want to experience, where you would want to experience it, with who, what kind of people that you would want to experience it with. So, and every circumstance, every situation in between of what I just talked about. Now, you don't have to go about, oh, this, you need to be extra crystal clear in what every single detail. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you got to be clear on the general things that are important here. The rest will situate itself naturally. Sorry, something stung me on my arms. But yeah, so you got to be very, very careful, because we're in the age of energy. Energy can be transmuted. And what are you going to transmute this energy to? Right? So, you'll have very important considerations to go into. And ask yourself, if you had the choice to live the dream of your life, what would it look like? And then go in that direction and ignore everything else that contradicts this vision, because in the world of infinite possibilities, it is here already. You just have to align to it. Have to be the change that you want to see. That go to a line, Gandhi. For me, it keeps on coming, and it just shows me how deep it was. All right, so people that know this park know that we're getting to the end. You can start seeing a little bit of the building in front here. So I gotta start wrapping this up. It was only about 25 minutes. Oh, so I did the lap in 25 minutes. A little bit, it'll be 26 probably by the time I get to the end. But anyways, that's not important. We should not focus on these numbers. So, anyways, I'm gonna wish you all the best. Wishing you deep realizations, profound healing, intense connection with who you are, and clarity of vision, and a very clear purpose in life. I wish you all that for you. Because your awakening, your enlightenment is my enlightenment. Your happiness, your peace is my peace and happiness. So, I'm going to wish you all the best for what is coming. Be mindful of what you create. And until next time.